Travels with the Stevensons. We've done some unique shows since 1982 when I did the very first show for public access and education access called Home Weatherization. Coming up that trail a little bit, about 15 years ago. Exactly 15 years ago. I came out here and two people opened up the Florence Antique Mall. And Mike, Colleen, used to be Colleen Harvey, now it's Colleen Dessel.
That's right.
Married to one of the finest gentlemen I've ever met.
That's what he tells me.
I'll pay you later.
And of course, you know what I always tell him? When the good Lord made man, he looked down, surveyed the situation, and said, I can do better than that, and he made women. Particularly Colleen.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm thrilled to be back out here with you again with Travels with the Stevensons 15 years later. We've got a situation here at the Florence Antique Mall where you start to change your hours a little bit. You're open, I think, those 7 days a week, aren't you?
We're open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m.
And you have a website?
We do. We're at FlorenceAntiqueMall.com. We also have a Facebook page at Florence Antique Mall.
So you can join them on Facebook as a friend.
Absolutely. We encourage people to like us all the time.
Well, that's where I saw about the grand opening, I think, was on Facebook, because I'm a friend, I think.
You are a friend.
And, of course, I'm going to be an old friend.
A good friend.
A good friend. And, Mike, now, you were in the engineering business about the time when you started this, wasn't
That's right, that's right.
And so, you were sort of behind the scenes, but there helping.
Still am.
And still in, right?
That's
Start that
right.
same.
I of the Pitney Bowes type thing, I will be the Bowes. I'm the backside.
Well, Colleen, I have to, you know, she's gone on to heaven, your mom, but I do have to mention her. And I called, of course, I saw your father out here today.
Yes.
And I was so thrilled to see him sitting out there, took a little picture of him. You folks will see him on the show here. Colleen's dad. And your mom knew more about antiques probably than anybody I knew. She was an antique connoisseur, wasn't she?
She was, and she was also our #1 cheerleader. She was our best advertiser out there, that's for sure.
She certainly was and did a beautiful job of it. And I know she's walking around in heaven watching over you guys right now.
I firmly believe that.
So do I.
I don't have a doubt about it. A wonderful Christian woman. And now tell me about you two in the business here. How many employees do you have here now at the Antique Mall? Part-time, full-time? About what you say you have.
I think we're about at 15, 16, including our accountant and people who work other jobs for us as well. So,
That's fantastic. That helps the economy here in
It does.
Florence and Northern Kentucky.
it does. As well as far as the economy goes, we are basically host to almost 250 independent small businesses. If you think of each of these dealers, a lot of them rely on this as their source of income. And between doing shows and being set up at a mall, this is what they do to bring money in to either help supplement an already existing income or as a sole source of income.
So it's a real boon to the economy here and helps a lot of people in sometimes some people it's their only income, isn't it?
Exactly, and it's a wonderful way of supporting small local businesses.
You know, one of the things that I really enjoyed sitting here tonight, while you all were going around and filming, I have to explain to some folks, I had a little accident a few weeks ago, got a fractured foot and some other problems, but I just couldn't fail to come out here and do a show with you guys that I love so much. I know my son Guy and his wife Amy and their daughter Tegan, they all love you too.
And we do.
Went to school with them.
Yep.
I know you and Mike were Connor together. And when I did a little substitute teaching out there, of course I always embarrassed Guy, with singing.
Which you should.
But I had to come over here and film this, and I really feel a real sense of loyalty to you folks for what you've done for Northern Kentucky. Because this isn't just an antique mall here for Florence, Kentucky, Boone, Kenton, Campbell counties, and all of Northern Kentucky, as well as the Commonwealth of Kentucky. But you all have a presence that reaches around the country, the world, by the internet. And I know that you've had customers from all over different places.
We have.
And that's a unique thing. Tell us about that a little bit.
Sure. Well, John, we started the website about 7 or 8 years ago now. And through it have an online catalog where we feature a few of our items. Very few, but a few. And through that, we got our first overseas sale into Sweden. And that happened about 6 months after we went online. And since then, we've had a scattering of sales of different items all around the world. Just like you said, South America, Central America. Of course, we always
Japan.
had quite a bit into Canada, which we still do, both through the doors as well as online. Japan and Asia. About the only place we haven't sold anything at this point, I think. I don't recall anything from Australia, and I'm very certain we have nothing yet sold to Antarctica.
No.
But other than that, we've been just about everywhere. We also used to keep a map up here and have people put a pin in it to show where they're from. And all 50 states, of course, we had that covered some time back, which again is saying a lot, considering that includes things like the state of Hawaii and as well as Alaska. So not necessarily very close. So between the World Wide Web with our website and the Facebook and Pinterest type things, right, we're getting exposure way past this area. But even in this area, Colleen was mentioning to me earlier, reminding me, we have dealers who sell here who live actually in Tennessee. Some who live in Indiana, some who live in Virginia. We have one who lives in Florida. So we have folks who are not just local or even really regional, but almost across the eastern half of the U.S. We have people set up and selling through here to customers that come from everywhere. It's really remarkable.
And that's one of the things that I really focus on with Travels with the Stevens. Actually, you all are great promoters for people to travel to Kentucky because they see the antiques that we have here in Kentucky. And that brings people right down I-75 here, the Golden Triangle, as some people call it, between northern Kentucky, Lexington, and Louisville. Of course, the rest of the state spreads out. But traveling into Kentucky then becomes an idea that gets sparked by your all's business.
Absolutely.
And that helps the state's economy.
It does.
Right. We're very proud of Kentucky. We're glad to be a part of this state, and it's a perfect situation for that.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to phase one here with let you go show the place when you're walking your tour around, and then we're going to come right back to a little more interview in just a moment.
All right.
Sounds good.
Hi, my name is Colleen Detzel. My husband Michael and I own the Florence Antique Mall, which is located at 8145 Connector Drive here in Florence, Kentucky. We are right off of Mall Road, and we are open every day 11 to 8. We would like to take this opportunity to show you the wonderful items that our dealers have brought in, and maybe you would like to come visit us. We opened in 1998 and are celebrating our 15th birthday. We are open every day 11 to 8. So let's go shop. How's everyone doing?
We're doing good.
Good. Thank you for being here for our birthday weekend. We appreciate it.
No problem.
This is our showcases, and we have such wonderful items as Kentucky Derby memorabilia, as well as a wonderful selection of sterling silver from the Victorian era up to contemporary. You will also find beautiful Victorian lamps and currency, coinage as well as bills, and again, more sterling silver. The showcases are home to some of the more valuable items we have. That's why they're under lock and key, but we always keep them manned by our professional staff, who's more than happy to help you look at anything you would like to look at. Here in the showcases, you can find such things as some Weller or Roseville pottery, beautiful hand-painted Victorian china, as well as, of course, our ever-popular Cincinnati Reds and sports-related memorabilia. This is just one of the many dealers who has Cincinnati Reds related memorabilia, so if you're a fan, you definitely need to come visit us. There is something for vintage kitchen collectors as well as for the child and the toy collector in all of us. So if you like Hot Wheels, Matchbox, if you were ever a fan of the Munsters, if you enjoyed looking through microscopes when you were a child, we can try to rekindle that and find the favorite toy that you once played with. If you're looking for a sweet-faced vintage doll, we can help you find one. There's also original Maxfield parishes here, as well as some beautiful applique, embroidered, and handmade quilts. So if you didn't get it left to you by Grandma, you can always come buy it here. Barbie is she's as popular today as she was when she first came out in the 1960s, and there is a wide variety of Barbies from vintage to contemporary to fulfill every collector's need. For the serious collector, we also offer some beautiful hand-beaded Victorian clothing. A lot of this might have been morning clothing or morning hats. There's also Bakelite manicure sets, truly vintage hats, and Victorian era accessories. So if that is your pleasure,
Colleen, that was a really great introduction to a lot of the showcases, and I know there are a lot of them. Well, Colleen, I know you said it's a big store, but I didn't expect it to look that long, so this is one of the main aisles in your store?
It is one of the aisles. And this is where we have individual booths. These are basically 8x10s, and each one of them is going to have its own distinctive flavor, due to the fact that the dealer may be a specialist in a certain area. This one, of course, is with dolls and with children collectibles. The teddy bear rocking chair is particularly adorable.
Oh, that's really great.
Isn't it? The great thing about some of our dealers as well, they offer cards in their booth. If you have an item that you want to sell, or if you need more information, they keep their business cards so that you're able to contact them, not necessarily to buy the items that are here on premises, but if you have, let's say, a collection of dolls or Barbies or something like that, that you're wanting more information or you're wanting to sell, it's a wonderful connection, plus you know you can trust them that they're truly an authorized dealer, that they're represented here.
That's great.
Keep that in mind.
That's great.
Adorable.
Oh, I see you have an uncaged lion here.
Pretty scary, be careful. And again, this is what I'm talking about. Different flavors for different dealers. This one tends to go more toward advertising and also kind of primitive, unique items. A lot of hand painted, a lot of tool items, more rustic, more primitives.
So when we came in, you explained that we have something over 200 of these individual floor spaces.
That's correct.
It must take a couple of hours to walk through everything.
Oh, this is not some place you want to come if you only have 10 minutes. you'll regret it and you'll be back. So give yourself plenty of time, especially if you have any sense of nostalgia.
Oh, I see. Here's a good example of a smaller booth.
These are our half booths, which have been wildly successful for people who weren't sure if they wanted to jump into a full booth. So this is half of that, and it gives them a taste of what the customers are wanting and how to start displaying your items. And we have a waiting list for these spaces at this point in time.
I see.
So we have none readily available.
Some very nice old hardware here I see as well.
Some decor, cast iron decor, which is very unique and unusual.
Very nice. No, I noticed that your aisles are nice and wide. It's easy to get around in here.
That's right, and we're handicap accessible as well. We have a level parking lot, a ramp. We're climate controlled, air conditioning in the summer, heat in the winter. And plus on the weekends we have a cafe in the back which serves amazing food.
Must be what I smell.
It must be. This dealer, as you can see, offers a lot of Fiesta, a lot of different Fitton, milk glass over there, glassware, salt scrap, and again, more china, more contemporary, but it's a beautiful, beautiful setup, and he keeps it clean as a pen, so
Very, very nice.
really
Okay.
does a great job.
And as a reminder, once again, we are with Colleen Detzel, who is the owner of the Florence Antique Mall, which is in Florence, Kentucky. And once again, for those who may not be familiar with that area, Florence, Kentucky is located in northern Kentucky, right off Interstate 75 on the Mall Road exit. This antique mall has been here for 15 years, and that is actually the celebration going on here as we film their 15-year birthday. And the Florence Antique Mall was started by Colleen and her husband back in 1998. And you're getting a little flavor of what is here now. These items were not here then.
They were
But
not.
others were, and many more have come and gone since.
That's
and
right.
this is what you would see if you came in at this moment. So if you see something you like, don't wait. And it changes constantly, doesn't it?
It does, it does. Today was a wonderful example of that, so.
I see a lot of really interesting furniture pieces in here,
Yes.
as well as some artwork.
Yes. This particular dealer actually has 2 different storefronts that he actually owns and operates out of, but he uses this also to advertise his business as well as to stock his overflow.
Oh, that's great.
It's been highly successful for him.
That's great.
This is one of my favorites. This is country, it's primitive. This is one of our original founding dealers, and they really bring in beautiful quality. And for anyone who has any sense of a general store or country or primitive appreciation, this is a wonderful booth. You will never be disappointed in this one.
So when you say a founding dealer, this is someone that's been with you from the time you opened.
That's correct.
That's
They
terrific.
came in within the first 2 months of when we opened in 1998 and are still with us today.
Is this an old coffee grinder here?
That's exactly what it is.
Oh,
And it's a big one. You could make coffee for an entire village with that one.
that's awesome.
And this would have been like a store clerk's desk over here.
Oh, I see
And
that.
this, of course, is like an ice box here. So,
Wonderful.
yep. So there's some
Wonderful.
wonderful fun items.
And again, just to give you a flavor, we've only walked down not even half of this this particular row. You can see how much more is still down there ahead of us. It's quite a large store. How about in here, Colleen? What have we got?
Oh, she does a great job. She's latching on to and selling to what the customers are requesting, and they're requesting crates. They're requesting, which is what you're seeing here with the loaded shop shelves. Very popular due to online sources such as Pinterest, magazine articles, and stuff like this. This is a little bit more rough, country, rustic look for her, and then she also has more of a feminine, more Victorian style ladies booth. So she has multiple booths in here, but this way she's able to display and sell to people who have this taste, and use her other booth to sell to somebody who's looking for more feminine, girly type stuff or decorative plateware. So
That's great. You know, a lot of people I know think that a store like this is themed only one way, but you're showing right here where it's not the case at all.
that's right. The dealer we just looked at, this is her other booth, and you can see how distinctly different it is.
Sure is. Very beautiful. Very nicely displayed.
Isn't it? She does a beautiful job. We're very, very pleased to have her.
You see more furnishings on this side, and
Yes, this gentleman is actually a master upholsterer. So if you have an upholstery job and you're wanting somebody reputable, we keep his business card up front, and we're always more than happy to share that with our customer base.
so the Florence Antique Mall is also a good resource for information and for services.
Absolutely.
That's great. And I notice this is a bigger space too than what we've seen before.
That's exactly right. This is what we call a double space. Triple? Double. Double.
Have another one right behind it.
That's right. And it gives them the opportunity, if they have a surplus of items, to be able to put it all together. So it's not quite so cramped to them. And it gives also anyone who might have need for special access the ability to get in to look at the individual items as well.
Fantastic. And what are all the balloons I keep seeing?
These balloons are part of our 15th birthday celebration.
Oh, okay.
And what they do is each of these balloons represents a dealer who was generous enough to donate an item to the treasure trove that we have up front, which is our grand prize giveaway. And we had over 70 of our dealers, 80 of our dealers actually donate individual items that are all piled up there, and one lucky customer on Sunday, August 11th, is going to win every single thing. And we'll show that to you later.
That's terrific. Oh, I noticed some fishing rods here.
Absolutely.
So sports-related items as well.
That's right. We've been told, we can't guarantee it, that these are all magic fishing rods and they guaranteed to catch something for you.
Oh, I'm sure you can guarantee it.
This is our charity booth. We work with the Dinsmore Homestead, located in Burlington, Kentucky. And we ask people to bring in items and donate them through the Dinsmore. They get a charitable tax deduction for doing that. And the items go in here. We collect nothing, not rent or any proceeds off of this. All the money goes directly toward preserving and maintaining the historic Dinsmore Homestead.
That's terrific.
Thank you.
Boy, there's just so much. I just try to create a general look here.
These are beautiful stenciled Hitchcock chairs here.
Oh, in the center over there, I
Yes.
see. I almost walked past
With a
them.
brass bed behind them. Yeah. Truly beautiful. And this
Oh,
dealer
you
has
have
a
a-
combination of traditional or going into more contemporary.
I
So some
see.
people like to keep it in the same booth, some people like to separate it.
And even the walls of your store here, I see there are things on display.
Yes. These are what we call our private rooms. And people have been using them to create a store concept.
Now
And
that says do not enter. Am I okay to enter?
I think I can give you clearance.
Okay.
All right?
Oh, you're not going to be able to tell this as a viewer, but it even smells nice and vintagey in here.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it?
It sure does.
And again, you're looking at items that seem to be a little bit more country, rustic type, such as, you know, the Bouterie sign, which is, which you can hear it. It's a
Yep,
metal.
sure
Definitely a
is.
metal. Old hubcaps, lamp light, and I think that's probably a World War I Red Cross poster that looks like it might have been actually hand painted. This
And you
is,
know, we are in Kentucky, of course.
You
and I
see that
you
Wildcat,
have
do
a
you?
Wildcat, a Kentucky Wildcat.
Absolutely. It's signed and numbered as well.
That's great. Can't find that everywhere.
Come. I'd like to share. Wonderful general store.
Oh, let me take a quick look here up and down. All right, this is the general store within the Florence Antique Mall.
That's correct.
Okay.
And we have a lovely couple, and they took this upon themselves. They decided they wanted to take this space back here and create their own general store, including putting the picket fence up, laying the floors, the hardwood floors, and the entire inside is filled with primitives, country, and items that you would find in an old general store.
That's terrific.
Isn't it? And you can just smell the wood, and you can smell, you know, it feels like you're back in an old-time general store, and they do just a wonderful job. We're so thrilled to have them as part of our family.
Take a quick walk through here.
Sure.
And again, to the viewer, I apologize that we are unable to show you absolutely everything in this large antique mall, but that's the beauty of it and the problem with it at the same time. There is so much. I'll just give you a quick look at what's in this one general store within the Florence Antique Mall. Really very nice. My goodness, even an old National Cash Register.
Right.
Look at that. Haven't seen one of those for a long time.
That one is not for sale. They reserve the right to use certain things for display and to continue with the
Just a
essence
beauty.
and the ideal of a general store, and that would be one of those items.
That's
Anytime
terrific.
it either has NFS or not for sale, it means it's strictly being used for display.
I understand.
That doesn't happen often here.
Colleen, do you use social media?
We do. We have a very active Facebook page, and we continuously post items that are coming in. We have a very high success rate. We've sold over 70% of the items that have been featured on our Facebook page. We also have a Pinterest page. If you pulled up Pinterest and you look for Florence Antique Mall, you will find that we highlight and showcase at this point, I believe it's 75 to 80 different items, and every day we try to post different items on the Pinterest board as well as on our Facebook page. We also try to interact with individual customers that if they're trying to sell something, we have a page we call Fam Family, and if you can send me a picture of the item via phone or via email, I take and I send that photo out to the people who are on that Facebook page, the Fam Family, and it's strictly only for my dealers. And I can see if I can get an offer for an item, or if you know what you're asking for it, we can see if we can get it sold to a dealer for you, if that's how you want to do it.
It's fantastic.
Thank you.
It's quite the booth behind you too. I noticed all the old blow molds up on top.
If you like holidays, this is your booth. They work so hard.
Wow.
And every day they are literally bringing in hundreds of items. We already, everything you see up here practically, there was, I would say conservatively, 25 of these sold today, of the blow molds, as they're called.
Fantastic.
And the vintage tree, the vintage ornaments are highly popular, and it's nothing for us to sell 50 to 60 of those in one day as well.
Okay, Colleen, what do we have here?
Well, we were talking about themed booths earlier, and of course this one is all about horses, and the spirit of Kentucky is all about horses, of course. So anything from racing, thoroughbred racing, to quarter horses, to briar horses, which are wildly popular. So this is one of the definite, a saddle. So anything that has a horse theme, she really tries to carry through here.
That's wonderful.
Isn't it fun?
It sure is. And this is just one of over 200 floor spaces here at the Florence Antique Mall. So obviously we're not going to see them all.
This is another one of her themed booths. This one is the Spirit of Wine. She has the glass grapes, a variety of different decanters and cordials, as well as champagne wine glasses, and anything to do with celebration she tries to carry here.
Just wonderful.
She also has a wonderful selection of vintage Chanel spreads. I had one, my grandmother had one of these with a big peacock on her bed when I was little growing up. So it always brings back a wonderful memory whenever I see one.
How do you manage to not buy everything in here?
I made a promise to my husband.
Just kind of swing back and forth a bit here. And once again, folks, there are over 200 of these individual floor spaces in this very large store. So we can't show everything today, but as we can, I'll give you a quick idea of what's currently here. Colleen, how did you end up coming up to get into the antiquing business?
Oh, I have been an independent dealer and had done a lot of local shows and had